guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today we have a special guest, my husband, sitting in to do a Q&A with me. I asked you guys over on Instagram for the questions, and I said specifically you could ask my husband Jake questions directly, and I got a lot of really good ones. Many of you guys know this, but let me just re-say it. He works a full-time job, so he's not around most of the days that I'm working. When we're filming this, he's actually on vacation, enjoying a week off of work, and so we are trying to make it. We have about 30 minutes to get this filmed before the kids need to go places. But a lot of times people will say, how come we never see your husband in the videos? And that is because I usually work when he's at work. So I film when he's gone. Just kind of like how, you know, if you work a full-time job, you want to spend time with your family on the weekends. You're not going to be working on the weekends. I try to get the majority of my work done while he's at work, so that way when he's off, then I can kind of be off a little bit. It doesn't always work out that way, but that's why you don't see Jake too often. I did, however, just put up our Flagstaff vlog where we went to Flagstaff, Arizona with our friends in my membership, and Jake is in that video. So if you want more of my husband, you can go find him over there. But we're just gonna jump in. I have probably more questions, like you guys really sent them in. I have more. You're still kind of sweaty. Sorry. He just finished working out, and so his leg is sticking to mine. So I didn't look at the questions, and I definitely didn't show them to Jake. The first one is, would you do a CrossFit competition together? And I think that this is because this girl, I actually remember her picture on Instagram. She did Festivus at the same time me and Kylie did. So this question is coming because of Instagram. I shared that I was my daughter's partner for a CrossFit competition. And so this follower was also doing it, and I think she said she got second place in the category above me and Kylie. So would we ever do a CrossFit competition together?
We have done one before. Two non-CrossFitters did one in 2017, I think. Mm-hmm. Yep. Innocently joined a CrossFit competition thinking like, yeah, we're fit, we'll just jump right in. Not realizing some of the movements are pretty complicated. So that's why the Festivus game is fun, because it's movements that, for the most part, anyone can do. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we had a good time. You unfortunately got really sick.
Right before, yeah. And the funny thing about it is neither Jake or I do like CrossFit specifically. Obviously, we know about CrossFit, having both been in the space, and our teenagers go to a CrossFit gym, but we don't do that. So a lot of the CrossFit competitions are, only really feasible if that is the way that you work out all of the time. Like, we don't do Olympic barbell weightlifting. Now we do a lot of conditioning workouts similar to like AMRAPs and those style of workouts, and pull-ups. Jake does all that, and dumbbell snatches and lunges and squats and those kind of things. So those things are the same, but when you get down to like the specific CrossFit movements, like the gymnastic stuff and the kipping pull-ups and the handstand push-ups and all that, that's where you lose Jake and I, because we're just not about that injury life.
Yeah, I'm in the age of perfect form.
Slow and controlled,
not trying to cheat the movement to get a higher volume number. It's more quality of rep versus quantity.
Yeah, so I don't know that we would do a CrossFit competition to say.
It'd be fun is if you team up the teens together versus mom and dad, and we would smash them.
I don't know about that.
That would be so fun.
Okay, no cats, only dogs. Do you like cats? I mean, I think cats are cute, but I'm severely allergic. Yeah. Do you like cats? Like as an animal?
I mean, yeah, they're cute, but I feel like they're so distinct personalities. Like they're always planning their escape, and they're just trying to, how are they gonna get away from you? But when you come across like a really friendly cat, it's genuinely nice.
Yeah, because it's so few and far between.
Yeah, but like a dog, you kind of know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Favorite song together? Just the one off the top of your head right now.
The ringtone I had when we first started dating.
That is so old. I mean, a song currently.
Oh, like a new song?
Yeah, that we both like.
We both like that Josiah Queen guy.
Yeah.
A lot.
Josiah Queen. We saw him in concert 2 nights ago. And
but,
he was awesome.
His top 3 are pretty equal. The Manhattan one's pretty good.
Garden in Manhattan.
Yeah, it's catchy. Yeah.
One financial mistake that you learned from and one that has made you successful.
Buying a house too early, letting like parents influence you, like living above your means and buying a house when we shouldn't have.
Okay, so that's the mistake.
And then buying a house when it was appropriate.
That made us successful.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that. Do we allow Harry Potter? Your thoughts as Christians in Harry Potter, please. Funny enough, I never read Harry Potter ever. It's just not my genre. I never have even watched a single Harry Potter movie. And there's no, I mean, I could tell you guys, I've never read Harry Potter. But there's actually no spiritual reason why I didn't. It's just because I'm not interested in that kind of thing.
It's not your thing.
Jake, on the other hand, read the books and watched all the movies, and he is still a strongly convicted Christian man. Can you even believe that? So I'm sure you can tell from my answer, and you agree with me, right?
Yeah. Yep.
People get too crazy with this stuff. I mean, is there some discernment that should be exercised? Yes. Do I believe that watching Harry Potter is going to somehow turn someone from salvation and open the door to all sorts of evil to take over? No. Would I encourage my kids to watch Harry Potter? Probably not encourage. Do I think it's worthy of restricting? I think it depends on the age and the spiritual maturity of the child. So it's kind of a nuanced answer, but I also think that when it comes to this kind of stuff, there's not like a yes and no, you know, and a lot of other Christians would disagree with me on that, but I'm okay with my kids reading things that are fantasy or made up. And what I'm also even more about is letting my own kids be convicted by the Holy Spirit that dwells within them, because that is exactly what happened. If I would have restricted it, it would have become more of a thing than it needed to be. But when I allowed them to read the books and then watch the movies, there were certain movies that they wouldn't even watch because they felt convicted. So I think that it's really wise to allow your kids to experience conviction of the Holy Spirit on their own, rather than just obeying you because you're parents. But again, if you're dealing with a really young child, they may not possess that yet. So then you would need to guide them in that area. So yeah, I think it really just depends, and I think that that's a pretty nuanced question.
Yeah, I read the books and watched the movies like when they first came out. So I mean, I wasn't even a Christian when it first came out. So then it becomes like, oh, I gotta see how this thing ends.
Then when the kids got interested and they wanted to read the books, I asked you. I was like, do you think it'll be fine? And you said sure.
I thought it was fine because, does it become an obsession? Like, some people are absolutely obsessed with it, and like with anything of the world, like, you should be really cautious of becoming totally obsessed. But I love, like, the argument is like, well, if you watch Lord of the Rings and read those books and Tolkien, like, very similar in the sense like wizardry and stuff like that, but Tolkien just feels right. And I don't know what, I can't identify the specific difference, but
I had never read them. I never watched the movie, never been an interest of mine. I deferred to him on that. He said, go ahead and let them read the books, so we did. I don't think my youngest ever read them. I think just my older 3 did. Yeah. And then they watched a couple of the movies, and then a few of them they did not watch because they were convicted, and then that was kind of the end of that. So that worked out well.
Yeah.
Childhood celebrity crushes. Mine was JTT, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I also thought he was so cute. And then I also really liked Devon Sawa from Casper. The teenager in
I
Casper
don't know
with
that one.
Christina Ricci.
I mean, I know the movie, but I can't.
And I also was a big NSYNC fan. What about you?
Jenny McCarthy was big when I was.
Well, you don't have to generalize. You liked Jenny McCarthy.
Yep. Yep.
Who else?
I'm trying to think like who was popular back then. Yeah, she was the main squeeze.
Okay. Did we know that our oldest Kylie was a girl or a boy before we actually knew her gender? So this is funny because I was fully convinced it was a boy. And obviously she was a girl.
Yep.
Did you have any inclination either way? Do we like to play board games or card games? And if yes, what are our favorites? Yes.
Yeah, both, as long as it's simple.
Yeah, that's like the criteria. If you have to tell me 20 minutes of rules, you have just lost me. I do not like nuanced, super, like, mentally exhausting games. Not my style. Like the game Risk and Catan and even Monopoly is like, oh, so many things. I like quick card games. I like quick board games, simple rules, just fun. That's what I like. How about you?
I like card games.
More than board?
I guess it depends on the day. I like them both equally.
So we played some really fun ones recently because you asked what our favorite is. One was Tapple. My friend just brought that when we were on our trip and was playing it with my kids, and it looked like a lot of fun. I'm going to get it for them for Christmas. We also played, what's that code one that we did?
Code names.
Code Names. That's a really fun one.
It's just slow.
No, it's fun. I like it. And then what was the blank slate was another one that we did recently that I liked. In card games, I like a good old fashioned game of speed. What about you?
It's fun.
I'm really good at it. Jake likes Go Fish.
Yeah, no, I mean I've played poker. I've done all. I've done all.
You like poker?
Yeah.
No.
Not that I've played in the past 15 years.
Some of the questions that are repetitive, I get hard, but I'll try to ask a few. I know you've answered some of these before,
okay.
So feel free to give a concise answer. Okay. Let's see. Does your husband see when I am at my limit, or do I always have to ask for your help?
I typically get an inclination, but then she will definitely tell me when she's at her limit. It usually becomes from a text message before I come home from work. FYI, I'm done. It's 12:30.
There's been a lot of that recently. It's been quite difficult. Yeah. Jake probably notices, but I definitely have to vocalize like, this is what I need you to do, or, something like that. He definitely does not always know exactly what to do in this scenario. The next question, easiest and hardest thing about traveling or camping with an RV? The easiest is it's like a house on wheels. And so you have everything you need. It's comfortable. You can take it pretty much anywhere. It's a lot of fun. And then the hardest, I would say, is how something can always break.
Yeah, you always got to keep up on it. It's unpredictable when something goes wrong. I don't mind going slow. Like getting places takes a while, but if you know it's going to take a minute, then you're kind of in the right mindset. Gas stations are sometimes a challenge.
For the towing man. If you had to choose, would you rather move to the West Coast or the East Coast? I'm saying West.
Depends how west.
I'm saying in general on the West.
Yeah, West Coast.
The East Coast is too many natural disasters and too many liberal states. So that's why I wouldn't want it. Beautiful scenery, for sure.
Yeah. I guess I haven't seen enough of it to make like a real educated comparison.
What is your favorite thing about the current stage you're in life? This is a great question, individually and family wise.
What was it again?
What is your favorite thing about your current stage in life, individually and family wise? I'll go first. My favorite thing about this current stage of life that I am in individually is that I'm just very solidified in who I am, what I think about things, what I enjoy and what I don't enjoy, ways that I want to value, or ways that I spend my time and what brings value to my life. Like, all those things are pretty ironed out for me. I'm not really trying to figure those things out anymore. So it feels like a very, I don't want to use the word simple because life is never very simple, but it's just a very, I don't know what the word is. Like, everything that I know who I know, I'm not trying to figure things out about myself at this stage of my life. Everything is pretty solidified. That's the word I was looking for. So that is probably my favorite thing individually. Also, just enjoying like some of the fruit of the hard work of the earlier years of life, whether that be in parenting or whether that be financially or whether that be spiritually. Just being able to be, where we are now is a lot more enjoyable than it was when we were working to get to where we are now. Although I never wished a day away of my life because I knew every season was special. I've always been very intentional on focusing on those things, but I will say it's nice to be established. It's nice to just be where we are, established in all senses. It's a very, we're not moving right now. We're not working towards some crazy thing right now. We're not going through a huge life change right now. I mean, it's on the horizon, but all of that is really nice for this season of life that I'm in. And then family-wise, I would kind of go along the same things. My favorite thing right now that comes to mind is the fact that all of my kids are still under one roof. Mm-hmm. I have obviously been very aware of how those years are dwindling. And even, in the best scenarios where, they're going to be around as they get themselves established into their young adult lives, whatever that looks like, it's going to be different. And so this is kind of like the last little bit of having all 4 of my kids be under one roof, all 4 of them always together, all the family vacations together, all the trips together, all the holidays together. And so that's probably my favorite thing right now. Last homeschool year all together. Sometimes I can't say that, but today I can say that and not cry. Some days I can't. It's up and down for me. Yeah,
it's like the foundation. You work so hard to build the foundation, and now it's finally like the grind of building the family and the work you put into it. Now it's laid and set. We're strong in our faith, doctrine. We're not all the questions you have in your sanctification process, it's been answered. Now we're just building off of it and enjoying the fruits of your labor. And so it's nice not to be in the grind, and with age comes some wisdom. Mm-hmm. And the house is built on a firm rock, and we're not being tossed to and from of whatever wave comes our way, whether it's spiritually or just life's challenges. This train's moving in one direction.
Yeah.
And you're right about all the kids under one roof. It is a tremendous blessing, and it's very sweet to have them all here, because we know that in the future it's not always be like that. So I appreciate it more now, knowing that it's a short-term thing coming.
Till it changes.
Yeah. So I guess when it's early, it feels like you're going to have them around forever, but when it ends soon, the time is, I guess, more sweet.
Mm-hmm. So kind of going along with that, what has been the most difficult time of our marriage and how did we overcome it? I don't know. I don't know that there would be one specific difficult time in marriage. I think marriage is something that is kind of always difficult, and that doesn't mean, I'm just being honest, like marriage is difficult. It doesn't mean that we've ever like contemplated not honoring our commitments to each other. A bird just almost flew into the window. Did you see that? But marriage is hard, and the thing about marriage is that it's not like once you get it figured out, you've got it figured out for forever. There's new dynamics and new changes and new shifts, even just in your home, like with your kids or with a spouse who is changing or has gone through something or who has changed their thoughts on this or whatever. There's just always something shifting. So when you feel like you've really got it ironed out, then there's always something that kind of comes into that and then presents challenges. So, I would say that there's never been like a season where Jake and I have been like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be married anymore. But there's definitely been points in our marriage where we've struggled to like communicate well, or where there's lots of just like things piling on where it's like we've got to figure out how to work through this together. And with every, like I said, every new stage of life and every season that changes, there's new things that cause just a disagreement in marriage, and so then you have to figure out how to navigate those things. I mean, it can be little things like things to do with the kids or things to do with me, like working full-time from home, and just feeling like I'm doing like 9,000 things in a day and I need more help. That has been something that we have still been like working through, because it's different than when I was but when I was a stay-at-home mom that wasn't really running their own business. So, there's just anytime anything happens in life, whether it's kids, whether it's new tasks, whether it's just a change in a job, or whether it's hormonal changes as I get older, and I'm just speaking for me, he can speak for himself, but there's just always something new to work through. So I don't know that we've ever, like I said, had one specific time of life where we were like, oh, wow, we almost didn't make it through that. I mean, we've definitely had challenges, but it's just more of like marriage is always kind of a challenge, and it's always a choice to work together and be a team and be forgiving and not hold grudges and not worry about the small things and not be easily offended, and all of that is like a continual choice.
It seemed like the early years were the hardest though. If I think of like a phase, is because like I didn't do a very good job of like protecting like us early. I would let like family influences, and I still like cared about like what relatives thought, so I wasn't like a good husband in that sense. Where I should, you're still learning. I was a young man, so I guess that's part of the process of being a better husband, is learning from your mistakes. But it felt a little more I guess we more disagreements early on because I didn't do a good job like protecting you.
Boundaries.
Yeah, and now the boundaries are set, smooth sailing. But there's learning to grow. The process is uncomfortable.
Yeah. So now a lighter question: guacamole or salsa?
Salsa.
Guac. If you had to shop at one grocery store for the rest of the year, where would you shop at?
Costco.
Best flavor of ice cream and worst flavor of ice cream? I can't eat any ice cream, so it's all the worst unless it's vegan peanut butter from Salt and Straw.
Yeah.
Jake's not a huge ice cream guy either.
But I do love coffee ice cream.
Okay.
And what's worse flavor? What's the flavor with like the bubblegum things in it?
Ew, gross. That one is bad. I don't know the name of it. What is your favorite thing about our home?
Our favorite.
Your favorite thing.
How it's decorated. I did a really good job decorating. I call it the cottage in the desert because it looks like a farmhouse.
Farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's your favorite thing, the decor?
Yep.
Yeah. My favorite thing is also like how it's very cozy and homey. So I do love that. I also love like the location of our house, because I love, seeing the mountains and not being like in the city. So I love that. And then I love where we live. I can't really say too much about it, but like I like all the walking trails and I like, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's probably my favorite thing. Let's see. What is the worst food you've ever had?
It's like the melted cheese and you dip the bread.
Fondue.
Oh my goodness. Oh, what a waste of time.
The worst food I've ever had was
I'm sure fondue is good, but like some person I made it as a kid, it was the worst thing I've ever tasted in my life, and I've had never since.
Yeah, one of the worst foods that I've ever had was a frozen fish stick.
What about like a raw shrimp?
I've never ate that. Is there a movie that's ever made you cry from laughter? And if so, what was it? This is not going to be appropriate.
I mean, I feel like funny movies in the last 10 years have taken such a drastic turn that aren't like really that funny anymore. But like a Netflix stand-up by Nate Bargatze has made me laugh out loud and cry. It's not necessarily a movie, but his stand-up is fantastic.
Also Sebastian Maniscalco.
When we first discovered his stand-up on Netflix, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's but like a movie, oh man, they're so worldly, and I was not. I couldn't even watch them now.
Yeah, they would make your stomach turn.
I loved Step Brothers, but it is such an inappropriate movie. I couldn't even last 5 minutes anymore.
So former Jake thought Step Brothers was very
I thought
funny.
Will Ferrell was like the best thing back in the day. Elf is still pretty funny.
Elf is funny. Do you know my love language? Yes.
Yes and no.
But
it changes.
I don't put all my stock in this.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that there is some truth and importance. Look at that red bird up there.
The bird lady.
Some truth and importance to knowing the way your spouse receives love, but ultimately, I think people put too much emphasis on this. It's not about that. It's just about being a loving, reliable partner. And I think people get too wrapped up in this. We got divorced because they didn't know my love language. It's just kind of...
Yeah, you'd be pretty selfish spouse if someone is say I'm acts of service, but they think you're you receive gifts as your love language, and you receive that gift and you're like, I would rather. That's a pretty selfish attitude.
How do you feel about our first child graduating?
It's really depressing. I'm very proud of her, and you have worked so hard with her to get her to this point, and she's doing fantastic. I couldn't ask for a better child, and she's going to be she's going to flourish, but man, it is hard to think about.
Jake doesn't talk about it or think about it very often, so then when he does, then it's like the tidal wave of emotions.
Yeah. It's just crazy how she's very mature. I'm sure we were all this way at 17, 18. You think you are
very wise.
Yeah, you're wise. You got it all figured out, and she's a fantastic and intelligent kid. But man, it's like
sometimes she reminds us she's still 17.
Like, wow, you don't know,
and her brain is not fully developed.
Like, you don't know much, young lady. But man, she's set up for success. But as like a dad, sending your daughter out without your protection is like overwhelmingly like scary. That like letting her not be vulnerable to the world is scary.
Yes. What will you do after you retire from law enforcement?
I don't know.
You could leave it there.
Yeah, I don't know. I have several things I would like to do.
What are those things?
Like,
I don't even know.
always want to learn how to play the guitar.
Oh my gosh. Hobbies?
Well,
He's going to become a hobby guy?
Hobbies, I want to train with Landon. That would be awesome.
Oh, do jujitsu?
Like regularly, like train. But I never really, I never prayed about the career path. So it would be nice to just do that diligently.
Pause and seek God.
Yeah, and then see where he wants me to, go. I always joked of like, I'll start serving in the church to make up for all the last time I haven't served for me, like so busy. But like if I was like seeking like another second career, I would like to do like private investigations for like a larger company.
We shall see.
But the grass is never greener, so it sounds like really good to be double dipping and making, I guess, like more money. But then you're just tied down to another job again. So like, what's the point of retiring if you're not gonna? So I don't know.
Time shall tell. Do we give each other opinions on each other's clothes? This has been a recent.
She is very stylish and up with the times. I think I told you, I feel like the times are passing me by and I'm stuck somewhere else until I'm like, wait a minute, my shirt's like really old. Like 5 years old.
But Jake is also so picky about his clothes because I could very easily piece together outfits that I think look nice, that are current and trendy, and bring them home for him. And I have done that, and he doesn't like that.
I can't get down with all the latest trends. But I feel like a solid t-shirt with jeans and some Vans looks fantastic on a casual day. I am not buying baggy pants again. No, I'm not dressing like I dressed when I was in 8th grade.
Well, I am.
Yeah, but I feel like with girls, you have so many options.
Not
like
really.
It is unbelievable how many options you get. So I'm just going to ride this out until it comes back to me.
In 20 more years, she'll
where
be back in style.
athletic fit jeans are back in style. And I will be up with the trend.
Jake he doesn't really comment on my outfits too much, but then randomly he will, and it always catches me off guard because I'm like, he'll be like, oh, I love what you're wearing or something, and I'll have worn it like 4 other times and he never said anything.
Never noticed.
So it's kind of funny. So I definitely give him my opinion more, but he asks for it on, what to wear and what looks good and everything. All right, let's finish it up here with a few more. What is Jake really thinking as he stands by and watches me film? What are you really thinking?
Oh, when I watch you film, I'm proud of you. I mean, it's almost like watching someone. I'm watching you work, but someone like good at their job. Like it is a skill to be able to talk in front of a camera, and like when she does like your opening and closing, like it's not retake or redo this. It's like all off the cusp, is that?
Cuff. Off the cuff.
Cusp. Oops. And I'm very thankful that she does work. It has completely changed our life. Like we had no idea it was coming. Like everything changed. Mm-hmm. For the good.
Mostly the good. Except for when I'm very grumpy
I'm
very overwhelmed.
I'm also not the one doing the work, so I can say that.
Yeah. What is your favorite Christmas tradition? Just say the first one that comes to mind.
Christmas morning.
What's our tradition?
Okay, well, so we definitely get up early. The kids can't wait. Even now, I feel like they get up earlier now than when they did when they were little. And then you make cinnamon rolls, and we have coffee, and we leave the mess, and we kind of like soak it in.
Yeah, that's your favorite?
Yeah. I mean, like even both days are just so wonderful. Like the excitement of Christmas. Like we've got the routine of like being at church on Christmas Eve service. Like really set the tone. And I used to stay up late assembling things, and you would try to stay up until you fall asleep on the couch.
The past few years, we've gone in the hot tub on Christmas Eve once the kids have gone to bed, and that's been really fun.
Yep.
My favorite Christmas tradition is probably everything that he loves, like the moment, and I love everything that leads up to it. So I love all of the little things that I've done throughout the years, like through the season. That's what I look forward to the most. I would probably say going to Disneyland at Christmas is probably one of my favorite traditions. The next one is probably a question for me. Do you think it's more expensive to homeschool the older your kids are? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one here, we'll leave it with some advice and wisdom for the dads. How would you encourage your wife who is in a motivational discouragement house slump? How would you encourage your wife who's in a slump? I think
don't add to the slump, for one. I guess love her through it. Don't ignore it. See if you can identify any needs that you can take on yourself to help. You could definitely probably pray with her, pray for her on your own. Sometimes, like we always want to like fix it. So maybe just kind of not necessarily go with your fixer hat on, your tool belt. Just take it slow.
I think she's meaning like an actual slump in motivation to like take care of their home.
Oh, okay. I guess it's hard to not. I want to fix it, so I don't know the exact problem. That's a hard. But like being a devoted, loving husband, like she should be able to rely on you and be able to fall back on that. And just maybe remind her that, like, everything doesn't have to be perfect. Like, the house doesn't have to be spotless. Like, don't take that burden on yourself. And burnout is a real thing. So if your wife needs to take a break if you've homeschooled 9 weeks straight and it's becoming a grind, like, encourage her to take a week off. And
not clean during that week.
and then you pick up the slack, or maybe she needs some time, like at dinner with her friends, and no one for her to take care of immediately, and and answering like you answer so many questions, so just like some silence away could be beneficial, and just. No, slumps don't last forever. There's going to be ups and downs. So just weather the storm. Definitely gets better.
Yes. And just, I think it's important for like a husband to recognize like what he can do to help so that you can get out of it. So if that means like he can cook dinner while you go and get some sunshine and take a walk, like all those things are really helpful. But we're going to end it here because Jake's got to run. He's got to take a kid to an activity. I know. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sending in your questions. I hope you enjoyed listening to us chat. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them down below. We may come back and do a part 2 because there were about 50 more questions that we didn't answer. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye. I guess no one's to blame, nobody crossed the line.
wish we could